Hey everyone, we have a new Illustrator tutorial for you today. I thought it might be helpful to kind of dive into all the capabilities that Illustrator has with color and kind of the basic things that you need to know. We're going to go over setting up your document color mode. We're going to go over the color window and the different settings. We are going to talk about how to use and save swatches in your swatch library, color swatches, and how to access PMS colors within, if you're setting up a document for print. And then lastly, how to add colors to your color library for easy access. So to begin, I thought it's probably best to start at the beginning. When you create a new document in Illustrator, first it asks you for the size. Sometimes the size matters, sometimes it doesn't. In this case it doesn't. I'm just going to randomly put a 9 and 12 here, but what does always matter is this last little option down at the bottom, which is your color mode. And if you click on this, you have two options. You have RGB color and you have CMYK color. And each of these options has very different outcomes. So it's important to know how to choose the right one from the beginning. RGB color is light color, meaning it's digital. It's on your screen, it's on your TV. The color gamut of RGB is like pretty much infinite. You can hit very bright colors all the way down to very dark colors. Neon colors you can show on your screen. So if you're setting up something for your website, for social media, for an email, anything that's going to be viewed on a screen only, you will want to choose RGB color because it's going to be bright, it's going to be vivid, because screens allow that. Your second choice is CMYK color, which stands for cyan, magenta, yellow, and K equals black. So if you are setting up a document or a design that is going to be printed, meaning like it's going to go to a print shop, they're going to print color separations on and print it on a press, you are going to want to do CMYK color because that's what printers need in order to make plates to reproduce your design. They will split your artwork into those four colors, a breakdown of cyan, magenta, yellow, and black, and they will make 4 separate plates, and they will put those plates on the press, and each color gets laid down on top of each other. So here's the thing. The big difference between print color and screen color is that the CMYK, you're much more limited as far as your range of colors. You know, you can't hit neon colors combining cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. And so Illustrator will show you it will warn you, I should say, if you pick a color that's outside of the CMYK gamut, it will warn you and be like, this isn't going to print well in 4-color process, which CMYK is commonly referred to as 4-color process. So, without confusing you more, just remember, anything digital is RGB color, anything printed is CMYK color. So, I am going to choose CMYK color for this demonstration, and I'm going to hit create. So let's start out first. I'm just going to move this. We're going to talk about that later, but let's just start out with our color palette. You can access the color palette under Window and Color. And you can see, because I set my document color mode up for CMYK, the default color window that comes up is CMYK. So if you wanted to switch that around, you can go here, and here's your options. We can do a grayscale slider, we can do RGB, CMYK, or web-safe RGB, meaning it's going to take out, you have a limited spectrum when you upload to the web. But I think it's like a 50-50 split for me. I mean, I use RGB or I use CMYK, so should be safe with either one of those. Let's go back to CMYK. You'll also notice these two squares. They're on your color palette and they're below on your tool palette too. It always defaults to a white fill and a black stroke. But this is important for when you want to change colors. So I'm going to take my rectangle tool and I'm just going to draw a square. And as you can see, it defaults to the white fill and the black outline. But we can change that by clicking on either one of these. If you want to change the fill color, make sure that your fill square is on top. And when you click it down here, it changes on both. So if we wanted to change it to a color, if you have an exact CMYK breakdown, you can type it in here. 50, 50, 50, 50. Or you can use the rainbow and just kind of click around. And that same goes for your stroke. If you click so your stroke is on top, that means that that's the color that you're changing. So if we want to change it from black, we can type in a percentage, 20, and there's our, looks like it's kind of red. There's our stroke. Another cool thing is if you picked out a stroke color and let's say you want that exact color for your fill, you just have to click on your stroke and drag it to your fill box, and then it does both. Command Z and undo that. So if I wanted to make my fill color my stroke color, I could click on my blue and drag it to my stroke, and now they're both the same. So that's kind of cool. It's a neat trick. Okay, now let's say that you have very specific colors that you're working with, and you work with these colors all the time. Or you're going to be using them throughout your entire project, and you don't want to have to try to, type in the percentages each and every time. You could save your color combo as a swatch. So if you go to Window and down to Swatches, it will bring up your swatch window. And right now it has a whole bunch of different colors. It just kind of saves them as you're working on different documents. This could actually be the default set that just opens in Illustrator. I don't do a whole lot with swatches, but I know a lot of people that do, so I want to make sure that I explain it to you. So I think to make this the easiest, we're going to just start with a clear swatch panel. So if you go to the little 3 gray lines and you go a quarter of the way down here, it says select all unused, and we're going to do that. Select all unused, and now you can see it selected all these color swatches that we are not using in our current document. So we're just going to get rid of them. Now that they're all selected, you go back up to the options, and then you can do delete swatches. And you can hit yes. So that is how you clear your swatch panel. But now if we wanted to save this, we would select it and we would go to the new swatch right up at the top. And if you want to name your swatch, so right now it looks like we are saving the red color. So we want to do, let's do CMYK red. And it's a process color because it's made up of CMYK. It is CMYK color mode. And also, always do this. Always, always, always add it to your library. Keep this check mark checked. And let's see. It will default to your library, but you can create a new library, which I'm going to do so that I can go back and delete it. But you can create a new library and hit OK. So we now have that red color saved as a swatch, which becomes super handy. Let's just get rid of that and let's draw something new. And let's say we're making a whole different color box. And let's put a red stroke on it. Okay. So now we changed all these colors and then we decide, oh, no, I really want that box to be the red color that I used before. So we select it and then we go down here and we have our CMYK red color that we saved. There's our stroke and we're going to fill it with the same. So we can always go back and reference that exact color. And because we clicked the library option, it's now safely saved in our library as well for future reference. Okay, so that is swatches. Go ahead and, save whatever swatches you think that you might want to come back to. It will save you some time in the long run. Now, let's say that you are setting up a design that is going to be, maybe it's for a customer. It's ultimately, the customer has requested a PMS color. And a PMS color should be called out separately within your design. But I know, when you're in the color thing, there's no option here for PMS. So we need to pull a PMS swatch. So I'm going to show you how to do that. If you go up to Window, and then you're going to have to scroll all the way down, almost at the very bottom, you'll see an option that says Swatch Libraries. And you can see Illustrator comes with a bunch of default. I can honestly say that I have never used any of these default swatch patterns other than if you go to Color Books, which I think that this should just be labeled PMS colors. But go to Color Books and then down, and you have a bunch of different options as far as Pantone colors. So it took me forever to find where these were, and so I don't want anyone to have to snoop around for these. Swatch libraries, color books, and then generally I use Pantone solid coated, but it kind of depends, and it gets a little bit more complicated after that, and I don't want to lose anyone, so you can just go to Pantone, and then it just showed me what I was searching before. So then now you have this big, huge color swatch library of all your Pantone colors. And if you know your Pantone color that you're looking for, you can just click up here by the eyedropper, and let's say we want 348 green. 348. There it is. So now we can click our object and we can fill it with our PMS color. Oh, we don't want the stroke. We want it to be the fill. There we go. Oh, so yeah. Now you can see up here, it's not giving you, it doesn't have the CMYK sliders anymore. It's telling you it is 100% PMS 348 green. So you could also add this to your swatches. My windows are now getting really messy. Anyway, okay. So down here we have our swatch panel and we have our green PMS color. We would just go to the options, new swatch, and now it's labeling it a spot color, 348. Don't have to worry about this lab color. You could, however, or probably should, change it to CMYK. And if you want to add that to your library as well, go ahead. I make a different library. Okay, hold on. We're gonna pause. We're not gonna add it to the library right now because I'm gonna, as soon as I'm done here, talk about libraries. So we're adding this PMS to our swatches. Hit OK. And there, now it shows up. Pantone 348. Oh, we must have added it twice because we have a copy. So if you want to delete the copy, just select it and delete. Yep, there. So now we have our PMS green, and let's say we wanted to make that stroke, that CMYK red that we initially set up. So there you go. It's all right there. You don't have to be typing in color percentages throughout your whole project. So I am going to close out of my Pantone swatches because I don't need them anymore, and I want to talk just briefly about libraries. I know I showed you when we were setting up that swatch that you could automatically add it to your library, but that might not have made sense to you because I'm going to give you the example of how I use libraries. I have, if you can open up your library window here, it's right in your Windows option. And if I click next to this My Library, you can see I have kind of a few different ones in here. That's because I'm trying to get in the habit of setting up a library for each one of my clients that I work with. So, and these libraries that have people next to them means that I have shared the library with another person that I work with, which is really handy. They can access everything that's in there. So I'm going to use my Sophia as an example. So I'm going to click on Sophia, and you can see within this library, I have the 5 PMS colors that are specific to Sophia. Their logo is made up of these 5 PMS colors. So anytime that I design something for them, I always have their library open. Their PMS colors are right here. I don't have to waste the time of opening the swatches and loading them. I can, if I click on this box, I can click on my Pantone color in the library and it switches. So it switched my stroke. Let's switch the fill. Select your fill, select your Pantone, and there. So I can do that with any of these colors just with a click. And you can also save graphics within your libraries, which is awesome too. So I have the Sophia logo here in my library. If I double click on it, it opens it up for me. So it's right there, ready to use. I can copy and paste this into my document. I don't have to do File, Open, find it on my hard drive, open it up. It's all right there. So I could copy, select this all, copy, go back to my document, paste, and it's right there. So I have a library like this set up for each of my customers. It has their logos, it has their brand colors, it has, what else can you put in there? It has photos. You can add stock photos. So a lot of times, if I'm working on a website, is when I use a lot of stock photos. I will load all the stock photos that I have on file for them too, so that I can easily edit this, because these libraries follow you within each program. So if you have, if you do most of your work, or if you need, like I said, when I say photos, if there's something I need to edit on the photo and I want to use Photoshop, I can open up Photoshop and my library is still intact. It has all the same things, my PMS colors, my images, my photos. You can open it in any of the Adobe programs. They all have libraries and it syncs across all of them. So, well, I sure hope that this lesson in color helps you at some point or another. And as always, I'm trying to stress this more and more. Feel free to email me about anything in Illustrator related, or if another question comes up halfway through the tutorial. If you're trying something out and you're getting confused, just let me know. I'm here to help you. I hope everyone has a great day, and thanks for watching.